Finally, producers listened to me and I said, let's get Dan Cola to dive into the science behind what I love and has never been the secret in the world, the Pop-Tart. There is definitely depth and knowledge and...
Mark?
What?
We're going to have a problem if you bring Pop-Tarts to the Easter table.
What? I thought you were doing Pop-Tarts.
Popovers.
Oh, I thought you meant pop over for a Pop-Tart.
No.
No.
Nope, wrong again.
Oh, no.
Nope.
I'm feeling a little bit... Oh, well.
I need you to pay very close attention.
Okay. Okay. I just see a pop, and that's all I need. And
You don't
All right.
want to toaster, that's
pop,
for sure.
pop over.
So today we're talking about popovers. You may know them as Yorkshire pudding. You may know them as Yorkshire pudding.
I've got to say one thing. I come from just near Yorkshire. I'm Lancashire, but near there.
Okay.
And even British people recoil in fear when they come to make these. They buy them frozen. So the fact that you're even going to give it a go, I'm impressed, man.
Oh, nice.
we have the blessing from a British chef. We're good to go.
I know. It's because
Hey, they might not be good.
He knows the science behind it.
He knows everything.
He knows the science behind it.
Dig in, guys.
Right.
Dig in while you get this lesson. So popovers are actually date back to the 17th century. They are a very quick batter, and just like Chef John said, they're really finicky. And there's a lot of myths about them. Should we cook them in a hot pan? Should the batter rest? Do we need to? Can we check them while they're baking? If you open the oven, will they collapse? There's a lot of things, and I thought today we'd really break it down and help people at home understand that this is something you can make every day.
Yeah. How do we get started? I gotta know. I want to make these babies.
This batter
I'll show you how to
actually
finish.
is very easy. I like a high ratio of liquid to starch, so I've got some flour, 4 eggs, about 175 milliliters of milk, 25 milliliters of water, and a pinch of salt. That's it. Now, you're going to want to whisk this a lot. Going to make a mess here. I'm not wearing an apron right now.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not going to look
Dan,
at the Easter table.
do you use full fat milk?
I do use whole milk, and I wouldn't. But in this case, actually, if you want to use skim or low fat, though I don't stock those at home, they're actually going to be fine in this. I would drop out that 25 milliliters of water and go a full 200 milliliters of whatever milk you're going to use, because that water actually helps get you this really crisp edge over here. Now, once you whisk this all together, and we're looking for a smooth batter that's quite liquidy, the higher the ratio of water, the more volume you're going to get out of this. So the most important part comes next, and that is, I insist you put this in the fridge and let it rest at least a couple hours, if not overnight.
He was aggressive with that, wasn't he?
This is so good.
This is very good.
I'll listen to him if mine tastes this good.
Yeah, right?
So the reason we let batter rest overnight is actually to get a lot of gluten development. Now, we talk about gluten-free cooking often on this show, but in this case, you want gluten-full cooking. When you give gluten some time to rest, it actually forms stronger bonds that can stretch and are more elastic. So right here, you'll see the difference. If you don't let it rest, right here is batter that has not been rested. Right here is batter that has been rested. You get far more volume, far more height out of something that's rested. And you'll see what's happening inside. Here is the batter that hasn't been rested. So there's very little gluten formation if you just whisk that together and pour it in. And you can see the interior looks like a cake, right? We've got a lot, the crumb structure is very small bubbles. What you want are actually these giant, large bubbles to form. You want these large cavities, and you only get that when you rest the dough.
And
Don't
now,
need sleep.
right? Now you do use it cold because you got it out of the fridge, right?
Well, I like. We're not ready for that. I like my pan.
Again, aggressive.
I like my pan to be a little warm. I do actually like this to come to room temperature. Now you'll see over here the difference. If you cook it straight from cold, you get these completely flat-topped, non-bulbous, squat popovers, and that's because, remember, the heat in this pan is going to go from the outside in. So if the batter is cold right in the middle, it's actually going to drag down the rest of that rise.
How hot is your pan before you pour the...
450 degrees. I put the fat in, put a little bit of fat in each one.
What is that fat?
This is beef fat, and it's traditional because actually you'd make popovers after a big roast, so you'd have rendered fat.
Can you use butter if you don't have...
You absolutely can use butter. You can honestly even use vegetable oil, but the fact is I love the flavor of beef fat with this. So fill these about halfway, maybe 3/4, put them in the oven at 450 degrees, and then, now we can get that drum roll.
I'm going to try this.
You're amazing.
Here's what you get. Now, these are quite impressive. I will say, the one thing about Yorkshire pudding to remember is that you want to put them always in metal, not glass. So you can bake it. You can bake it in a cast iron pan or a muffin tin.
Like a Dutch baby.
Yeah, Dutch baby. But you don't want to bake it in a glass casserole dish because it's actually not going to hold on to the heat as well. It's not going to be as hot as metal.
So in a cast iron, would it just be huge?
It's going to look like a giant Dutch baby. And if you don't have something like this, a popover pan at home, don't even worry about it. And again, that myth about opening the oven door while you're baking, total myth. myth. Actually, you can check on these let them go for a couple minutes first, but you can check. Just crack the oven open a little bit. As long as you don't leave the oven open while you're checking. Just get a peek and close it up again.
Now, can I say something, guys?
Please do.
I'm not going to be allowed back into England after this. I'm going to have to live here, but these are the best Yorkshire puddings.
Amazing.
We're not worthy.
These are anywhere between sort of 12 and 16 minutes, depending on.
You keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
And I just want to say less than 2 minutes. For this.
Oh, wow.
Not saying I win, I'm just saying. We're going to come right back and talk to our family about their most embarrassing moments as parents. And boy, do we have some stories.